Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Welcome to player ratings. Now it's a bit of a different one, this afternoon job, live the day after. Didn't have time to do it last night. Obviously we had the nightmare with the fan cams and whatnot, so unfortunately, sorry to the people that did get interviewed and we couldn't post them. Tech issues, nightmare, and do our best to solve it in the future. But there is still 4 very good fan cams up there from yesterday, and like I said, it was a late night sorting all that out, or not getting it sorted. So yeah, we're going to dive into player ratings right now after that massive game yesterday, the 3-3 classic, Barclays Classic. What a game it was yesterday. Shout out Joelinton, shout out Aaron. Afternoon, lads. What we'll do is we'll start off with Nick Pope in goal. In the middle of our goal, Nick Pope. Now, it's not often I'll give a goalkeeper a high rating after conceding 3 goals, but Nick Pope was outstanding yet again yesterday. He faced 21 shots against Manchester City, and he kept us in it in some big crucial moments. You think of when they were 1-0 up, he made a couple of good saves when we were 2-1 ahead. That save from Haaland where he pushes it with his left hand away. What a save that is! I thought one of the best things about Pope yesterday was how quick he was off his line. He was coming out so quick. There was times when Bernardo Silva and Gundogan were trying to get him behind again, and he was really coming out and collecting the ball sharpish, putting them under pressure, making them fold. And in them situations, we've seen penalty given where players will go over the keeper. But Pope was just amazing yesterday, and he's surely got to be knocking on the door instead of tiny arms Pickford for the World Cup. And then, especially when it was 3-3, he made some great saves towards the end of the game as well, and even collecting the ball from corners and stuff under pressure. Brilliant from Nick Pope. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10, and that's mad considering he scored 3 goals, but it's not because it's against Man City. And it could always be more. And like I say, he made some huge stops in that game. Captain Trips, back again, doing it again. 4 free kicks Trippier has had for Newcastle since he signed for it, and he scored 3 of them. Outrageous stat that. Every time he gets it, I remember watching it and saying it's over the wall. This wasn't even joking. I fully expected it to go in, and it did. That's the standards that he's setting. I mean, that free kick that's probably his best one yet for us, because Edison and everyone's expecting him to go to that side, and he cuts it towards his side, and it's just, there's no stopping it. There's just no stopping that free kick from Trippier. It is unbelievable. And thankfully that he got his red card overturned from VAR. That was never a red card. And I loved the interview as well with Maxi after the game with Trippier, where you could see how professional he is. You could see his leadership qualities. He's arms around Maxi, saying how well he can be, how good he could be week in, week out. So it's huge. And what a signing Kieran Trippier has been, and what a player. He was back to his best yesterday. Just outstanding with the free kick in the match. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for me. Would have been a 10 if I'd have won. But and again, these high scores, even though we conceded 3 goals, but you've got to take into account that it is Man City. Fabian Shaw won't be getting as high as a rating from me. I thought he was a bit erratic at times. He was doing everything in terms of blocking shots and whatnot, but I thought his man marking was a bit erratic. He was a bit all over the shop. We've seen that for Haaland's goal when he was drawn to the ball, and both defenders, including Byrne as well, to be honest, can be criticised for this, where the man marking wasn't on point yesterday. But City are so good with their world-class movement that it's hard to contain them. So you can't be too harsh. But I think you could have done better with a few of the goals. You can have a 7 out of 10. Hard game for Botman in terms of obviously coming up against Haaland. Welcome to the Premier League there, Sven, because that's as tough as it's going to get, really, isn't it? And then Liverpool as well, if Salah on that hit form. But Botman yesterday, good spells, but also bad in patches. I thought he was too quick to get drawn out as well. He followed Haaland, the decoy for the City's goal. And sometimes, again, his positioning, obviously Haaland had his life, didn't he, when he burst through on goal and Pope made the save. But this is Haaland we're talking about. You know what I mean? It's one of the best strikers in the world. Botman's only been in the Premier League. He only played a couple of games in English football, so you cannot be harsh on him. I think you'll learn a lot from it, and he still showed glimpses of what he can do. I'm going to give Botman a 6 out of 10. Make sure you're dropping your player ratings in the comments as well. Dan Byrne, who had to fill in at left back again. I think Target was on the bench yesterday, though, wasn't he? But Byrne was on the pitch at left back again for Newcastle and did a great job, I thought. Some really well-timed interceptions, and the blocks were there. Body on the line, as always, from Byrne. always given his all. And he actually obviously had to come off with a knock as well after he hit the deck. So Bain at left back did a good enough job for me again against, like I say, it's going to be one of the biggest tests he's going to face. Anyone who is going to face against City, the champions. So Bain can have a 6 as well. But I tell you who can have a 10. This man. Oh, son.
Hello, mate. How we doing?
Hi, good, mate. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. How we doing?
All good. We've just ran through the defence, mate, on the player ratings. So I'll let you kick off the midfield with Joe. Actually, you can have the whole midfield, mate. I'm going to shut up and you can take start off with Joelinton.
No worries, mate. How we going for the rest of Mr. Defence and goalkeeper? What are you giving them?
I gave Pope a 9, Trippier a 9, Shaw and Botman a 7, and Bain a 6, I think.
Fair play. Yeah, no worries. Wouldn't disagree too much with them. Yeah, Big Joe. I think we'll start with a good 9 for him. I thought he was a beast again. Like, he's just become such an important player for us. And like, I think with Joelinton, I think people often think that because he's moved from striker to centre mid, like, how good actually is he? Maybe he's against like lesser teams. He's not going to be that good against the teams like Man City and that, but the Man United game last year at home, he dominated, and I think he did again today. Today, it was yesterday. Just brick shit house in the middle of the park, wasn't he? Just getting his body in the way, tackles, interceptions, getting forward as well. I think we've been too used to sideways and backwards playing centre mids over the last few years, but we haven't got any of them anymore. I think Eddie Howe's shaking that right out of everyone, but yeah, Joelinton absolutely deserves a 9. I thought he was tremendous.
Nah, he was unbelievable. He was everywhere as usual, getting right stuck in. Bruno, his Brazilian partner, how did he get on for you?
Yeah, I think he's going to be another 9. I think every game he's just the classiest player on the field. Every single game, like even up against teams like Man City, just didn't look out of place. And I know like there's been rumours of him going to teams like Real Madrid, and you can see why. Like he feels too good for Newcastle, and I know it's like the direction that we're going in with the takeover and stuff. We want to build players like him around, but like for the players that we've had in recent years under like Steve Bruce and like Rafa and players like that, we've had nobody that even comes close to being as good as Bruno. Like, he is world class, and I know that term gets thrown around a little bit too often, but he's just so classy. Like, he literally does everything. Like Joelinton, like, defensively, gets his body in the way, gets tackles in, wins your possession, going forward, long passing, short passing. He can shoot from range. You know he's got a goal in him. Like, he just brings just ultimate quality that we haven't seen in black and white in God knows how long. Like, he's just a different gravy to everyone else.
Agree with that Real Madrid one, apparently. They can fuck right
fuck off. No chance. Nah, like, we would be stupid. Like, we've literally just bought him for like nearly 40 million in January. He's our most important player. I think Eddie Howe, the board, nobody would want to see him go. Like, would have to slap like a stupid like £200 million price tag or something on him to try and even warrant any interest. But for now, if Real Madrid's offering, I don't even know what the rumours have been, 70, 80 million, whatever. Nah, not worth that at all. You can fuck right off.
Not even 100 million. Want more than that? He makes a good point there. I mean, last year, every year we get battered off City. You know, under Rafa, obviously we got that win, but in recent times under Bruce and Ashley, and even longer than that, you know, we have been a laughing stock. You know, the spotlight's been on us for all the wrong reasons. But everybody, yes, they've been watching that and thinking, wow, what a turnaround for Newcastle, the fans, the players, Eddie Howe. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Joe Willock then completes the midfield. I think he showed spells yesterday of his old self. You know, bursting from midfield, making things happen, linking up play well. What did you think?
Yeah, completely agree. I feel like Joe Willock's one of them underrated players. I feel like he gets unnoticed a little bit. I think if Shelvey was in at the start of the season, then maybe he wouldn't have this run of form. But we've got to remember it was Joelinton on Shelvey. Was it Shelvey and Willock that were keeping Bruno out when he first came because they were playing unbelievably? Like, yeah, he's so underrated, Joe Willock. Like, I think, like, intercepting, like, he's just so quick. He's energetic. He presses high up the field. He gets it right in the defense's face, the midfield's face, and he wins your possession back, and it's so important. And he's just a young kid. I think he just celebrated his 23rd a couple of days ago. He's got bags of energy, and just high pressing and intercepting. Like, it's so underrated and great on the ball. Like, he outran Kyle Walker in that first half. Like, Kyle Walker is one of the fastest, most dangerous fullbacks in the Premier League, apart from yesterday, because Maxi fucking done him right here. But even like Joe Willock, like you'd expect a good race between Walker and Saint-Maximin. Like, they are two quick players, but between Walker and Willock, you'd fancy Walker all day long. But Willock done him for pace, like just great on the ball, carrying the ball forward, like Bruno's goal against Leicester at the end of last season. It was Willock running forward, got that ball in. Like, he's such an underrated player for me. Like, I'd give him an 8. I think he was absolutely superb. I think the call to take him off at the time we did for Sean Longstaff was probably a good one. I think the legs were getting a little bit tired after the hour mark. But yeah, really, really underrated player. And when Shelby eventually comes back, he's going to have to fight to get into that starting 3, because them 3 are absolutely anchored in right now for me.
Like you say, he's only just turned 23 the other day. You do forget how young Joe Willock is, really, don't you? And the lack of game time he's had across the years, playing a bit part player for Arsenal, so we can get a run of games in a Newcastle shirt. Could be on the up.
Yep.
Saint-Maximin, the title of this video is about Saint-Maximin, because even though he didn't score, he did everything but. You know what I mean? Yeah. 3 assists pretty much, yes. Obviously 2 official ones. Then he won the free kick for Kieran Trippier. So Saint-Maximin yesterday was on serious smoke. And he was turning up for the Sky Cameras. He was turning up against the best team in the world, one of the best teams in Europe. And he was just unbelievable, man. Eddie Howe came out today or after the game yesterday and said that was by far his best game in a black and white shirt. That's the levels that Saint-Maxi can reach. Those are the standards that he should be setting week in, week out. That's how good we know he can be. Trippier, obviously, in the post-match press hours was bigging him up, saying, you know, put our arm around him, we'll tell him how good he is. We want to see this on a more regular basis. That was a brilliant little interview that the both of them did. And before I get into your thoughts, these are the stats on Maxi yesterday. 100% cross accuracy, which has got to be a first. Because, you know, that's what we're always slating for his end product. But yesterday, when to pass, when to give, when to go. His crossing was on point. The one for Almiron when he ballooned it over the bar, which he should have scored before he did score. 40 touches, 6 duels won, 5 touches in the opposition box, 4 chances created, 3 fouls won, 3 take-ons, 2 big chances created, and then 2 assists. And as I said, 1 the free kick with a dazzling run for which Trippier converted. Maxi, what we're saying?
It literally was. Like, we know the kind of player that he can be. Like, saying that it was the best performance in a Newcastle shirt. Like, sometimes you think, like, is that a bit of an over-elaborate saying? Like, you got to think how many times that he has pulled it out the bag for, like, how many times he has been a match winner. And we know he's got that in the locker. He's done it a million times before. But against a team like Man City, like top 6 teams, sometimes he does shy away a little bit. Like, his best performances are against, like, Burnley and, like, Crystal Palace and things like that. Like, against Man City, like, he never does nout, really. But yesterday, he was just, like you say, everything was on point. Everything that we've been criticizing him for a hell of a long time now. And yeah, it's obviously got to be a 10, same as his shit number. He was just sublime. Like, decision-making is generally terrible. Like, he shoots when he should pass. He passes when he should shoot. He tries to take on way too many players. He just wants to be the star of the show. He wants to take on everybody a million times over, come back for seconds, step overs, flicks and tricks when he doesn't need to do it. Like, just the basic things is what he needs to get right. And he done that. Like, he done absolutely everything. Like, taking on, like I say, Kyle Walker, one of the best, quickest, strongest fullbacks in the Premier League. Absolutely had him on toast. Like, a couple of assists and all, like goals and assists. Like, I think people judge his goals more than anything, but I think he needs to start getting some more assists. Like, as a wide player, he needs to be getting the ball into the box for the likes of Callum Wilson more often. And he done that. Like, everything was just sublime. Like, yeah, you can't say that it probably was the best performance he's had in a Newcastle shirt. Like, games like that are what is going to get him attention that he's had from the likes of like Tottenham's been interested and a couple of others. Like, that's why we keep talking about end products. Like, he's quite similar to Adama Traore. Like, that game yesterday was just head and shoulders above anything he probably has ever done. In terms of consistency, getting 2 assists, beating fullbacks, like the hardest defense in the Premier League, just absolutely ripped them apart. Like, he was everything that we wish he was week in and week out, because we know he's got that in his locker.
All-round game for me yesterday was definitely the best we've seen. 10 out of 10 for Maxi. Easy.
Yeah.
Almiron then. destined to score, wasn't he? After the Grealish incident and the flag that you can kind of see behind where you can see at the start, the War Miggy flag in the Gallagher. Brilliant flag, brilliant touch. Almiron, not a brilliant touch for the first chance that he had when he put it over the bar. I was like, oh God, Grealish probably laughing at the stand there, but he wasn't laughing at the end of it, was he? And what we were classed to see was the fan that said, Miggy, can Grealish have your shirt? And Almiron went over and gave him the shirt. And Almiron yesterday, like, the best thing was that he didn't give up. He got himself into the area again, got himself in a dangerous position and made it count. Got went in off his knee, but right place, right time. The endeavour to get on the end of the cross, brilliant. And the work rate, as always, was unbelievable. And class to see him get on the score sheet in those circumstances, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely buzzing for him, because he's another one whose end product is massively questioned. Only got 1 goal last season, banging them in pre-season. I think 6 goals it was he got in pre-season, but then coming in, I think the Nottingham Forest game, he really frustrated me. I think it was a little frustrating in the Brighton game as well, like end products, like again, decision making. Like I was there at the Nottingham Forest game at home, and it was again like kind of like Saint-Maximin, like passes when he should shoot, shoots when he should pass. Like confidence is right down, doesn't really know what the best thing to do is. But yeah, yesterday I thought you had a really, really good game.
Yeah, he was brilliant. I'll let you rate Almiron then, since I did Maxi.
I don't know. For the goal, I'll give him an 8. I don't think it was a great performance, but under the circumstances, like with the whole like Jack Grealish crack and the big flag, just giving that support and then getting we're back into the game, getting we're level on like in the tie 1-1. It was huge, and it was a bit of a scruffy goal. It wasn't great, and he did miss a massive sitter beforehand. I think he just leant back a little bit too much. So yeah, not his best performance, but a good one to be proud of. Like against Man City, a lot of players can shy away in recent years when we've played against Man City. A lot of players go very quiet. A lot of players have dreadful games like the 5-0 that we had last season. But yeah, Miggy didn't shy away, got stuck right in. So yeah, you can have a nice 8.
Yep, good stuff. And then we'll finish off with Wilson again at Eddie Howe. Callum Wilson again, man. This born goal scorer. Like all he needs is one chance and he takes it. That finish is absolutely top draw. I mean, the touch away from Diaz and the little toe poke. Again, he loves a toe poke. Poked it through opposite Edison, one of the best keepers in the world. Didn't have a chance of getting near it. The timing of the run, the touches and the finish to match. He's worked rate throughout the game. And he was always hungry for more. He just wants a goal all the time, wants a goal, craves a goal. Brilliant celebrations, really putting himself out there, just like Nick Pope at the other end, for a place in this World Cup squad. I mean, what a finisher and what a striker, and how important he is just to stay fit, though, isn't he?
Oh, massively. Like we said that at the beginning of the season, like with where we're going, if we can get Saint-Maximin playing like he did week in, week out, with the support from Almiron, Bruno, Willock, like there's goals to be had. Like he's done it in the past. I think his first year with us, he scored 12 goals under Steve Bruce. But didn't even surprised he even got in the box 12 times that season, let alone him scoring 12 goals. Like it's mad. Last season he scored 8, even though he missed like half of it. Like 6 of them 8 goals were in the first half of the season under Steve Bruce. He didn't really get much time under Eddie Howe. He didn't get any time really with Bruno, with Trippier. That's where we became dangerous. So now, like, this is an opportunity for him. And 2 goals in 3 games, it's a very good start. Like, we know his ability. He just has to stay fit, because we don't really have the backup options. Like, we've sold Gale and we've only got Wood. Like, we need a striker, whether it's backup or to compete with that starting spot, whatever it is. But yeah, he just needs to stay fit, Callum Wilson, because he's easily can score 15 goals, up to 20 on a really good season. He can score 20 plus. And I hope, like, Gareth Southgate was there yesterday, and I know he'll be there to be looking at, you'd probably there to say Grealish, even though he didn't play, but the likes of Foden and maybe he's Calvin Phillips, Kyle Walker, John Stones, but as well as probably Trippier and Pope. He was probably the only ones he was looking at, but the likes of Wilson, even players like Byrne and Willock, he's got to open his eyes to Newcastle now, because we've got players there who should be going to the World Cup, even with an outside shout. I think Callum Wilson's as good an English striker as we've got behind the likes of Harry Kane, and like Calvert-Lewin went to the Euros. Like, he's fucking head and shoulders above Calvert-Lewin now.
Yeah,
he's got to be there, like Callum Wilson, as well as like Byrne and Mark Gahey. They've been keeping clean sheets more than what the likes of Harry Maguire has. Like, people have to start opening their eyes that Newcastle, I think prior to Trippier, Andros Townsend in 2016, 2015 was the last Newcastle player called up for an England game. Like, people have to open their eyes now that it's not just Trippier and it's not just going to be Pope. We've got other players. Like, Wilson played for England for Bournemouth. As soon as he came to Newcastle, not a sniff. No one's interested because he plays for Newcastle. Like, Gareth Southgate had to have been there yesterday, not just watching Man City players, but thinking, fucking hell, I need to get up to St. James Park more often because there's some talent here. And especially if we're able to get someone like James Maddison through the door.
And especially when you get games in the World Cup where we've got the likes of Iran in our group and stuff. So if you start strong, play Kane in those games, you could look to start Wilson in the other games and then bring him off at half time, or give Kane a rest. If England are 3-0 up against Iran, bring Wilson on with 25 minutes to go, whatever. You've got to bring him on. He's the best finisher behind Kane by a mile for me. And in teams, the other forwards that are in the England fold, like you said, Calvert-Lewin injured and way off form. Marcus Rashford way off form. And then you've got to look towards the likes of Wilson and Tony. For me, you've got Tammy Abraham at Roma. And you've got to look at Wilson like big time. But yesterday he did come off, so hopefully that's nothing too serious. He did come off for Chris Wood with 20 odd minutes to go.
Yeah,
but I'm going to give Callum Wilson. He can have a 9 out of 10, maybe an 8. Yeah. I'm going to give him an 8.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And we'll like I said, Wood did come on for Wilson on the 68th minute, double substitution with Sean Longstaff, who came on with Joe Willock, but no one really did anything of note, did they really? Sean was okay in midfield, Wood, the odd thing, holding up the ball, but both probably just get a 5, wouldn't they? Nothing really shout home about.
I think, like I said before, I think the game was kind of going after the hour mark. I think legs were tired. I think we were just trying to hold on. Once we got 3-1 up, Man City started to get back into the game. It was 3-3. We're like, fucking hell, we could be losing this. Like we did a couple of years ago. Was it just last season where we were 3-1 up? 3-2 up and we ended up losing 4-3. Ferran Torres with a hat-trick. Like, it seemed like it was going to go that way. Like, they were banging on the door. Haaland looked dangerous. So, I think we were just trying to just hold on for at least a point because, I think getting a 4th or a 5th might have been a little bit too out of the question with how tired the legs were. So, I think the subs didn't really have much to do in attack, but they done their job at the back and kept the point. So, they did an important job.
Yeah. And Eddie Howe, what a job. What a job this man has done. I mean, like you said about Southgate taking notice of players, I think everyone's starting to take notice of Newcastle and Eddie Howe, the fans and everything else with the ownership, with the takeover. But we had a lot of praise for Newcastle on the likes of Match of the Day and Sky Sports this morning when I caught up with it for the turnaround. I mean, Eddie Howe has only lost 2 games at St. James Park since taking over. I think it's 16 games he's had at home, and he's only lost 2 of them. And those 2 came against Manchester City and Liverpool last season. So that's a record in itself. Obviously, we're in the top 4 for the calendar year. Since the turn of the year, we've been in the top 4 for points gained and whatnot. And the bravery yesterday from Eddie Howe, even not bottling it. You go 1-0 down after 4.5 minutes, and he doesn't bottle it. He doesn't think, fuck, I was daft trying to do the high and I was being too. He kept on going, kept being brave, kept going at the wing backs, leaving with short at the back in a way, but leaving we're in attack with more players forward to counter and break and have players in the box like Almiron and like Willock and that. So the bravery from Howe yesterday, the tactics to go for it. Pep Guardiola was full of praise for him afterwards, rightfully so. And I mentioned the record and just what a turnaround, what a difference he's made.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you come against Man City and you think a draw is the best possible outcome because there's every chance that we could get pumped 5-0 like we did last season. Like, Man City are a dangerous team, one of the best in the world. So I think any result against them is a good one, even if it's a bit scrappy. If you get a scrappy 0-0 or a 1-1, you take it. But it wasn't scrappy. It was a well-earned point. Even like a little bit disappointing not to hold on to all 3. But like everything was spot on. Like you say, we weren't defensive. We didn't just sit back. We didn't just invite pressure. Even conceding an early goal. I think a lot of teams would just, like, especially imagine if that was Steve Bruce, would literally just have 10 men behind the ball and just thinking, let's try not to concede 4 here.
Is it 4?
Yeah, literally. But no, Eddie Howe had the balls and had the tactics. Obviously, Steve Bruce didn't ever do tactics. I don't keep mentioning Steve Bruce, but that's where we've come from. Last year, the year before, we come against Man City and you think, fucking hell, let's just try and keep this to a minimum there, lads. But we didn't do that. We went out and we went to earn not just 1 point, but we should have earned all 3 points. We were absolutely brilliant. Tactics down to a T. I think subs were clever as well. Like, you hated seeing Wilson come off for Wood, but maybe it was tactics, or maybe it was a little bit to do with the fitness of Callum Wilson. Might just needed a little bit of a break, but yeah, absolutely everything. Joelinton, Willock, and Bruno in the middle. Even keeping Burnett left back, I thought that was a little bit risky. Don't really like seeing Burnett left back. Chucking Botman in for only his second start against Man City. Risky business. But we conceded 3 goals. It wasn't a clean cut performance, but we got the job done. I think everyone on the field should be proud, and Eddie Howe has to be the proudest man in Newcastle.
Absolutely, aye. And shout out the super chat there before there. Appreciate that, mate, from Sam Bob, who says Maxi was Merkel yesterday. I like it, Merkel. Good old Merkel boots back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Ash's giving Eddie a 10 out of 10, and that's what I'm giving him. That's what I'm all day long. For that style of play yesterday, for that bravery, to go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in Europe is admirable, and it was a class performance. And you could say we're unlucky not to get the win because we're 3-1 up, and that is disappointing. But in a way, you've still came away with a point against the champions. You've still scored 3 goals against the champions. And because those 2 goals from City were in quick succession, like you said, they were under the cosh a little bit towards the end. You're expecting to maybe go out and get beat there. So, yeah, good stuff from Eddie Howe. Great stuff from him and the boys. 10 out of 10 for Eddie Howe. What a performance it was yesterday. I'm going to touch on Harrison in a transfer video that I'm going to be doing later. But make sure you're popping your player ratings in the comments as well. If you're watching this back, we'll try and get back to you in the chat, in the comments. Nice one, Keg. Cheers for joining me.
No worries, mate. Glad to be on.
Pleasure, mate. Let's big up everyone up for tuning in at the minute. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to Magpie Channel TV. Enjoy yourself.